needs to move. So what we're looking for here is a place that might just not feel so good. And sometimes you're like, yep, there it is. And then maybe you move, oh, yep, there it is. Oh, there's another place. And so what this ball does, one, all of this proprioceptors are in the bottoms of our feet, and they are through the body. And so we try to access and just find some sensation. That's one of the reasons we do this. One of the reasons is, especially in our feet, but all over our body, we have what we call, thank you. You can tell where I got it last night. Fascia, it just is everywhere. These guys have heard the story. Trudy probably hasn't. My first anatomy class, we went in and it was a normal class and we could do lab, but we couldn't go into dissection. We could just do lab and we got to see cadavers. I started dating a guy because he was doing the cadavers and I wanted to see the cadavers. Clear back, in my late teens, I was like, I want to know more about this guy. I was in awe. That first anatomy class, I was just like, this is amazing. And so that's just kind of where I've gone with yoga, is just, finding what is in the body. So this kid cuts down, opens up the cadaver, and there's all this white, kind of like chicken, raw chicken, when you got the skin. And you go in with the chicken skin, you'll go in like this, and sometimes you can go right in and then you hit a tough place, and that tough place is where fascia is adhering. There's fascia all over, but as he was, the cadaver, he's just pulling off this white stuff and throwing it in the trash. I'm like, well, what's that? He's old fascia, you don't need it. Well, that was in the 70s, okay? It wasn't until the early 2000s that they're like, we think our tightnesses and some of our problems come from tight fascia, which is where massage just went like this, because a massage helps break that up and helps. And you want to have that ability. So down on our feet, there is a lot of that, okay? The last one is our feet take the form of our shoes. Remember when you could curl your toes and do all these funky things with them, and now it's like, oh, my feet hurt, right? You take your shoes off the first thing in the door. So anyway, that's kind of what we're doing with our feet. So take it down. You're going to move it out a little bit because we want to protect our knees. We don't try not to bend past 90 degrees. And then you're going to come over so that the one toe is there and the pinky toe is there and the three other toes are up on the ball. So you're trying to get your eye on. Sometimes that's an exercise in and of itself, okay? Then you go ahead and just lift the heel. The ball of the foot stays down, but try to lift the heel. Trudy, move a little bit further forward with your ball. Yeah, there you go. So try and lift, there you go, Art. Yeah! And then bring it back down, and then you're gonna take and come up and over. Now, if you get a Charlie horse in your arch, just come out, and then come back in. Try to stretch the toes over that ball. Go ahead and take it long. We haven't done this one before. Right underneath that arch, and just go side to side. I always feel, especially when I'm pointing, the contraction, okay? The extensions on the top of the foot, the contractions underneath. And so we're finding that contracted. And then pull it back, okay? One more. Come down. Again, big toe on one side, pinky toe on the other side. And the pinky toe and the big toe sometimes are like, they don't move. Lift up the heel. We're compressing. We're strengthening our ankle. Okay, I don't know how many of you have this kind of motion in your daily activity. Only if you've got stiletto high heels. Yeah. And then release, and then come back over and stretch Yeah, really feel that stretch and then push further. Kind of just come this time forward and back. Lengthening the leg, just moving through the fascia. And then just kind of swirl it around. And then when you move it to the other side, we're still going to do one more thing with this. Okay? Now, be careful. If you've got any issues, but you're going to lift your foot up, point your toe, and try to take it back. Get up behind. It's the same one you just rolled. Is that too hard on the knees?
Yeah, my knees are very flexible.
Yeah. But what do you feel? They're just not moving, or do you feel pain?
My knees are nice, it is up.
Oh, okay. So you're just feeling muscle pain. You will. Keep going. This is something you haven't done for a while. And it just, just try, and you just kind of keep going in and out.
Yeah.
So the rest of us, we're trying to push. I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to come onto the top of my foot. I'm creating that kind of, And then if you want, you can actually slide the foot under, and you've got long legs, Art, too. Yeah. And then you're going to try and lift up and away from that. Okay? There is pressure on the top of that foot. Now, only as much as you can stand. Yeah, this is hard to get. This is something we need to access. This is what makes our walking. And then release. And then you're just going to roll through that ankle. Woo! Art's like, wow.
It's like my last time, my first one.
Go ahead and move the foot out and across, finding some hip circles, some range of motion, and then go ahead and straighten it out. Yeah, we're working quads, can you tell? And come up a little bit. Now, notice if you have to do this, see if you can hold it still, because then we're isolating. It's still working up in here, okay? And then bring it down. Oh.
Now my daughter over here, bend down.
Oh, yeah. Clear up. Clear up. Okay? And just move. Grab your block. Notice we're doing one whole leg and then the other. Bring it all the way up and over. So yours is going to be a way we still are just, when we work, we try to protect and just do a 90-degree with that. So Trudy's still a little bit wider. I know. Sometimes the hips are like, but.
Yeah, I think we're down to my going.
Yeah, you can feel that down in here, can't you? So push down, you're pulling, then it feels like there's magnets right here, just kind of trying to pull that hip a little wider. And then also magnets right here, trying to just, it's almost like they're trying to take that leg and lift it. Go ahead and push into that. If you need to, we can check the balls. If you need to put your foot here for a little bit more stability, okay? I'd like you to try and lift this hip off the chair. So you're pushing weight into here. And then without moving the leg, pull that hip down. You should feel a little extra stretch on that inner thigh. Okay, lift it again. So you're leaning, taking the weight off of this leg. We're just creating range of motion, okay? So I started following a man that I actually took some classes from, but he started some things online that are just for mobility. And I'm on the waiting list. I don't know when it'll start for a mobility training as well. But this action, see if you can create that. Yeah, I don't know how far you can go. Make sure you're pushing on the edge of the foot. You can lift the outside edge. This is more of a sickle ankle. There's nothing wrong with stretching that, but we also want to strengthen it. So we pull the pinky toe up. We're just trying to get, does that, I feel a resistance. This is my hip that is just like, And then go ahead and you're going to just the opposite. Go to the outside, go as wide as you can. Come back up. Turn it in. You get a cramp. When we have it, use our muscles in a certain way. Take it back out. We've got one more to do. Reach it. Just feel like you're going wide as you can. And then here, it's just pulling it in. and then come back. Now, does anybody feel that in their knee? Okay, good. And then lift it up, come back, and again, just find some range of motion. In fact, let's do this. Block here, up, up. So, one of the mobility trainings is taking a roller, putting a ball on the top. So we're talking 3 feet in the air and going up and over.
No.
Up and back. Yeah. So we're just.
Some of you are doing that, some of us aren't.
Some of us are just doing this. Okay. And then go ahead and put the ball, plant your toe, your heel, that's a heel. And slight bend in the knee. We're gonna go take it wider or with, so that you can have some range of motion. You want to almost straighten the leg. The hip is pushing into the chair, into the blanket. The heel is pushing into the block. The knee's trying to lift and
You're going forward.
yeah, right behind. That's where you should feel it. Flex your foot, spread your toes. That will engage all of these muscles in your calf. Maybe a while since you've done that. Bend that knee just a tad more, Trudy. Yes. So, I recognize the lock knee because I do it so well. It's one of the worst things we can do. So, and then just go ahead and here, take your toes out. Ooh, turn them in. Take them out. Turn them in.
Turning it in hurts you.
Yeah, that's my hip. Right there. And then release, and then come up and just kind of wiggle. All righty, you know you're gonna need this block over here. Grab the ball underneath your feet. Find some areas of tightness, maybe a little bit of sensation. Yeah, it's right. Doing the same thing myself.
You must have been in the sun.
Yes. A little pink.
Oh, it just looks like
And
a
brown.
tan.
I saw somebody and they're like, where have you been? Beach. But it doesn't take long. I used to get to where my joints were black. I could do that very easily. I have to just watch it like a hawk because I don't burn much. I do a little bit more than we used to. So finding that rotation, finding any sensation, any place to just stay there and kind of love on that for a moment. This is some of the best stuff. If you do nothing else, what if you just 10 minutes a day fixed on something? This would really make a difference. So you're just finding all the areas. So we talked about this last week, I think. We've got an arch, we know there, but guess what? We also have an arch here. Those muscles are so underdeveloped because we tend to not lift that outside edge away from the floor. Okay, come back with that ball out a little further, knee, and come down. So when I do that, I know I move it far enough that when I bring the ball back, my knee's at 90. And then my big toe, my pinky toe, the other 3, ball of the foot down, I'm trying to lift my heel. Breathe, it's sensational, okay? We're finding that this is some work on the front of the ankles that is very difficult. Women can do this a lot better than men can, but as women, we lose it as well, okay? And then go ahead, here we go. You're gonna come up and over. I'm trying to roll my toes around the ball and then lengthen the toes out away from the ball. You might get a cramp. Just come out of it. Come all the way back. Ooh, plant. Find that stretch in the ball of the feet and in the toes, right? And then lift the heel. Oh man, I didn't even look up to see if my recording is going, but it's like way in outer Mongolia. Sorry, guys. So, finding that, and then here we go again. Let it roll forward, roll over the toes, Find the curl and then try to straighten the toes off of that. That in and of itself will create some cramping, maybe. We've got last time to do it. Bring it forward again. Breathe, lift the heel. So I'm really creating torque in the toes, okay? Some work in the arch, but this is where I feel most of it, right? In the front, yeah. And then come back, up and over, where I know Michelle can lift the ball with her toes. But, there she goes. My toes, I got stubs.
Just because I have home.
I know, I got stubbies. But to be able to grip, Michelle, is huge. We lose that. And then release. Yeah, you can lose the ball. Just come back up behind you and just work through, find some range of motion, right?
It was funny, I did all mine, came to that answer here.
Uh-huh. And part of it, where you feel mostly, is what's not been used. Okay? So, it goes open. And we are just going wide. We're just kind of feel that magnet here, feel the magnet here. So these magnets pull it wide. Not here, but just here. Okay, and then this magnet is trying to pull this whole leg that way. And then you're gonna let the hip lift, right? And then pull. No, probably not. And go out to the side a little more, Art. Take the block that way, off your mat, off your mat. Yeah, get it clear out there. Yeah, you'll find that, yeah, really there. Go ahead. Lift the hip. We're gonna do 2 more of those and then pull that hip down. That is, okay, the movement here takes the femur bone away from the pelvis. Pulling back down is, even though we're going that way, is sinking that hip joint, getting it back up in sync. 1 more, lift it up, and then pull it back down. And then here we go, just in and out. So this hip, I feel nothing. So weird. So we just kind of in and out, finding range of motion, and then hold it in. When you hold it in, see if you can pull the pinky toe up. So it's pulling this way. It's kind of pulling towards your knee. That's just such great work for the outside of your foot, for the outside of your calf. The outside of our bodies, if you notice that a lot of women have, like I do, kind of little saddlebaggy things here, okay? A lot of that is because we don't use this. I don't know, when would you use this in our everyday activities? We don't. Take it back out. This time it's going the other direction. See if you can lift the inside edge. You're really trying to still reach through the toes and keep it all engaged. This, to many people, is the most sensational, is opening that up. Go ahead and come back in. Ooh, yeah. Try to pull the hip down. You're not, but be gentle on the knee. Okay, you notice I'm at a beautiful right ankle, and that's where I stay. And then back up and over again, right angle. Okay, you just are being gentle on that knee joint. There is no muscle on this knee joint. The muscles here and the muscles here move. Okay, one last time, bring it in. And take it back out. Beautifully done. Go ahead and lift it up and just do we're just doing range of motion first. Find maybe in your ankle. So I have on this left hip, there's a little creak. Exactly.
Have somebody help me.
Can I have some help? And then go ahead. Here we go. Reach it. I know we came down. What did we do before that? Doesn't matter. Find that heel, because we're going for the stretch now. This will be the back of the thigh and maybe a little behind the knee. If you feel behind the knee, even though you've got a bend, then bend it more. We don't want to feel it behind the knee. Behind the knee is just tender. okay? So push into the heel, the hip is pushing down, you're leaning forward, and then would you take your foot and feel like you're pressing a gas pedal? I didn't mention this on the other side, but that's the work we want, yeah. Can you feel that inner thigh?
I was doing this, and, you know, she takes her head.
I know, she's amazing. Go ahead and turn it in. We're still doing hamstring, and turn it out. Do you feel that on the back of the thigh? Okay, turn it in, turn it out. Notice it's not range of motion for the knee, although the knee has to shift. Okay, it's mostly range of motion for the hip.
I must have some hip problems, 'cause I have to feel more.
Yeah. I don't know if it's hip problems. This one we know is. So I danced through high school and college, ballet and forced turnout. So look at those. I can do that here and that's fine, but we try to match our hips to that. And I just want you to think what that does to the hip socket. Yeah, I didn't understand. In fact, I ran into a friend that I danced with, in the early 2000s, and she'd had 2 hips and a knee replacement. She'd danced professionally. Okay, so how are the hips feeling now that you're here? Can you feel your low back has kind of been worked? When we sit like that, it does. Last week we didn't get up, and we're going to stand in a minute so that we're going to do a little bit more of our upward motion. But I'd like you to take your strap, because we do need to do some, oh, wait, on this slide, would you pull it out? We didn't do this. And pull it in, just kind of find this little, and then the other thing we didn't do is this one. And so put a block down and you're gonna lift it up and over, yeah.
I think we can get.
I don't think so. Yeah, roll through it again. So, why is this so important to lift it up? That's a question. Thoughts? Where do you feel it? Okay. When we sit, when we walk, we had this conversation a while ago when we talked about older people walking, the shuffle. They do. And part of the reason is because they've lost the strength to lift. Okay, when you know people that have fallen, they've stubbed their toes and they go off. Most of it's because they're like this. Okay, you get in the habit of each step, you've got a little bit of a lift. Okay, so I'm just strengthening these. All right, now let's strengthen up here. We've got both sides. Okay, it's going to go on your right foot. I'm doing my left so I can mirror you. Okay, your ball of the foot and the toes are on the strap. And then you want to just reach down, probably to a little bit below your knee. So rather than turn them like that, Trudy, that's going to make your hands. There you go, you got it. And you're just going to walk your hands down the strap until you're right below the knee. Okay, and then you're just going to sit up straight. Palms are going to face up. Not this, that's a cocked wrist. So here, if you cannot hold with the wrist straight, if there's just like not enough strength in the wrist, because that's what we're working on, walk your hands down a bit. Okay, give yourself so that you're not here. That's gonna overdo my wrists, okay? But I want to keep them here because I'm strengthening them. Go ahead and come up. It's not just, you're gonna come as high as you can and back down. And you're not going like this. Okay, so pull it up. Try to get your wrists, instead of this, try to get them forward and straight. They're facing the ceiling and down. They're facing the ceiling. Yeah. This is working bicep as well as the wrist, being so strong. So often I have so many people I actually will watch down in the weight room. See them this? It's this. That is going to strain a wrist. We want that movement in our wrist, but we also want it to be able to hold. Okay, you got one more and you're going to hold it up. Then you're just gonna take with your thumbs, you're going that way. Pull it out and pull it back. Notice that your shoulders will start to do this. Try to pull them up and around and pull them down the back. Yeah, there we go. You guys are feeling and breathe. Because we try, regardless of what's going on below my neck, to have this tea party face. Here we are. Oh, look what we're doing. Hold it out. Yeah, little pumps out, out, out. Last one, and gently, slowly release. Take it flat, leave it there. You can bring it up around your knee so you don't have to go back down for it. And then just look through those shoulders. Well done. Backstroke. So we're just range of motion, okay? Notice if your head leans forward. See if you can pull back with the head and then drop. We're going to take them up. Touch them together. Push through the fingers. Bend the elbows. Pull the hands like you're making yourself a crown. Push back into your head. Feel the elbows go back as well. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Try to let your armpits spread. Yeah, that's just a total different. You've never had an exercise tell you to stretch your armpits. And then release, okay? So I'd like you to think, so this armpit and this is very similar to this, right? We want to open it up, okay? Second side. We're going to do something just a little bit different. But you're still going to walk the hands down to just below the knees, okay? This time, turn the palms. They're going to face the chair. We're not going to let them do this or this. You're keeping them straight, and you're just pulling up and back. And I want you to lean a little forward, up and back. You're trying to get the shoulders on the back. The elbows can be wherever they're at, but the elbows don't lead, right? We're pulling the shoulders on the back. Pull it up and down. Pull it up and down. Now, in a regular yoga class, we probably wouldn't use these bands for our arms because we'd be doing chaturangas.
You're doing what?
Chaturangas, they're a push-up.
Oh,
Okay, so we're doing other stuff. Okay, I just had to watch mine. Did you see mine go? Mine are going. Okay, try to not let them go. Couple more, hold. This time we're pulling our pinky finger. Ooh, pull the shoulder on the back. You're gonna feel that stretch all across the work, all across the top of the shoulder. And then one elbow and another elbow. It's like, Debbie, how in the heck do you come up with these movements? I sit and fiddle. Yeah, find a few more. Hold both of them up. Pull the elbows back and release. Let go of the strap and roll through. Oh, yeah. Again, backstroke, and then also crawl. And you notice I bend my elbows. When you bend the elbows, you engage more of the rib cage. So do a backstroke again, and then beautifully done. Roll through those shoulders. Tuck your chin. Pull the shoulders away from the chin. Reach the chin up. So you know that I got certified in face yoga. It was just a little, 40-hour training. But stretch the neck and then come back down. Tuck
is that going
the
to take
chin.
care of my turkey neck?
It will help. Reach. But when we age, you notice, my granddaughter the other day, she said, Grandma, why is this? I'm just like, stop it. Pull and tuck the chin. Reach and stretch. Pull and tuck the chin. Reach and stretch. Come back to just center. Try to keep it as long as, almost like you've got collars. I don't remember National Geographic. I remember when they would try to lengthen their necks and they would just add a ring, slowly, and it would just look at them. And if they ever took them off, They couldn't do anything with
Or they could hold their
They
hand
couldn't
up.
hurt their head up. It was like the most amazing. Yeah, anything with the body, you just know I'm kind of like. Okay, look over the, ooh. Okay, as you do one side, pull the opposite shoulder down and back. And then come back center. Go the other direction. The shoulder, opposite shoulder down and back. Come back in. Now just move with your breath. Inhale here. Exhale all the way to the other side. Inhale all the way back. Exhale. Sometimes we get really bored when we do breathing exercises. That was been one of my biggest shifts. But do you know what it helps me do? When I get stuck in traffic for no reason, driving to yoga, and I know I'm going to be a little late. I can just still find that calm and that peace. Go ahead and just bring it back to center. Close your eyes. Sit. Now notice, we did not pause to start class, but we're pausing now. How does your body feel compared to when we started? Sore.
Warmed up.
Warmed up,
You're
right?
gonna have to start bringing towels or sweating.
Awesome! Sweat is the best way to eliminate toxins. There's only 3 ways. Here, toilet, skin. That's it. So, all right, stand up. Ooh, yeah, move your body. Come, stand behind your chair. I'm moving mine so that we can see from the side. Okay, but make sure it stays on the mat. I know the other thing we didn't do with our feet. We'll do it here. This will be easier for Art. Okay, on your mat. So come around so that you can keep your feet on your mat. Take that opposite leg. We didn't do this.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we didn't do
Want to
that.
turn my chair sideways?
No, just leave it. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Just, yeah, come around. It's the other opposite foot. So it's your,
With our head.
yeah. So you're finding that stretch there. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Now, slide it back, okay? We're gonna try something here. Holding onto your chair. Ooh, Gilbert, you need to move your chair up because you've got your socks on. And that might be slippery. So just stand on the mat.
You know, I've been losing my balance a little bit lately.
Yeah,
But when I do this, I can feel my balance.
can you feel it? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm not-
You're so freaking tall. Look at your hips above that chair. Yeah, so see if you can do this. Can you do this at all? Grab hold, okay. I'm gonna come around and help. I want you to balance because this is a great balance. So this, and you get your foot inside it, okay, and then it's gonna hold for you. Okay, I'll come and help. Holding on to the side, you're gonna turn to one side or another. Okay?
Do you want us to use the strap or can we use?
Yeah, you can use your hand. You can use your hand. Yeah. You just try it. Yeah, so try to keep it back here. You're stretching. Yes, front of that thigh. That's it, all right.
So is that what we down a little bit?
Well, yeah, probably.
Open your calf.
I'm stretching. Hang on to the chair. They're not going to take the full support of your body.
Yeah, grab the back.
Yeah, grab the back of the hamstring.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, how are you?
I just got to.
Balance is challenged, okay? If you want, this is optional. When balance is challenged, to kind of just maybe challenge it more. Or, this is another really great one, and I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see it. Move, make yourself move. This is one, do you know those little half balls? They have little ones for dancers to stand on. And so they stand on this ball and they do all this funky stuff, right, that they're supposed to do balance-wise. And they are doing it on this ball while they're trying, and it's this. They're standing on this. And it's like, oh my gosh, right? And then when they get on the floor, they are solid because this has worked. So turn around to the other side if you haven't already done it. That's the same way. There you go. This is my job. No, we did this like this.
No.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, find your balance. That's it. So for you, kick that even a little more. What's that? Down the same way. Try to push this away.
I can really feel that on my back.
Yeah, you can do
My
that.
back is, I had 2 vertebrae fused.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and come out. Okay, so homework. Now, you can do this a lot of different ways. I want to show you a couple of them, okay? You can do it this way. If you've got a stool at home, maybe even your chair, like this, okay? Whichever. So if you can totally do it like this, you can hold on to something else, but you're trying to find a stretch on the front of your body. Now, if you're here and you can do it, you can pull back with the body and you're going to feel that stretch. Okay, that's stretching hamstrings. So that's one way. But this is another way, the way we've just done it. This is a stretchy strap. It's also very beneficial to use one of these kind of straps. Okay, and you can just totally loop it, just like we did that one. This one might be a little easier to get into because it's not so stretchy and wobbly. Okay, but no matter what you're doing, whether you're coming up over here, you're not just pulling in. You're also trying to pull back and out. You'll feel the stretch go up a little deeper. So I'm going to give you all one of these straps because I think this is a better strap. I was not planning to do this today, but felt we've got some of those things happening too. Grab that strap.
This is my therapist had me do that line on my stomach.
Yeah. So, that's a great way to do it.
But it doesn't go for your balance.
Did you balance it? Did you feel it in your low back?
But say this one, I think perhaps my hamstring.
That's because you have a wired this now. Okay, yeah, better strap, Gilbert? Yeah. Okay, if you want to try this one, or you can. Yeah. Monitor your body. You don't want to go home and be really sore.
I think my body's better.
Yeah. Oh, my mind's been long gone. So I don't know if that's going to make a difference unless, Michelle, that one's one where you bring it up over your shoulder and you start getting some different swirl over my shoulder. Yeah, so take it. Let's just put it through there.
That's all we have,
In the back.
Right. And you can, so you can leave this also.
I have that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a little amount, belly in because of the low back. Right? So really, I'm not saying that you're not,
No,
but that you always, if your low back is bothering you, more than likely you're doing all of this stuff without any of these muscles.
Even holding your stomach.
You have to hold
Every
it in
time
your
I look
stomach.
at that, Chris, if I just pull in my stomach.
You just, well, think about it. I pull it in, I create space. Okay? Stand back up. Come. This is our, oh, yeah. This is also very good for backs. In fact, this is other homework today. I'd like you to find that. Okay? Hold on to a counter at home, a table, something. These chairs don't have as much resistance because we can just totally lift them right up. So reach back, bend your knees, and just reach your rear end back. You're trying to get as long as you can in the spine. You can walk your feet back a little. Yeah. And bend the knees deeper and lengthen. When is the last time you felt length in your back? Breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Beautifully done. Coming out. You don't just need to hold and bear. So if you get here and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just dying, then you're doing this. And you're coming back, even if I haven't said to do it, because you're listening. Go ahead and come back again. Okay, if you're needing to sit down, you're sitting down. Regardless of whether you're in your chair or on here, when you round through the back, that stretches the back, and then bend and curl the other direction. Cat-cows. Okay, this is the black cat. Here is the cow. I don't know why that's the cow. To me, that's more of a sway back horse. Come on up, round, bend, and reach. Up and round, coming in and out as you need to, bend and reach. Up and round. Ooh, feel that rounded spine. Bend.
I don't know why we do this.
You know, my dad can't. He's lost a lot of mobility. Now, this next one, I'm going to do kind of facing here so you can see it. You don't need to be as far back. You can be, okay? You can take some twisty things. So with your hands on your chair, you're just kind of going to go over and here, and you're going to be just kind of moving your leg. Your hands are staying firm. Your legs, there's really not a lot of pressure on your hands, but try to move like your body is doing this. Just getting some side bendings going on. Yeah. Try to do this with the cat back, which is up here. Try to do it with the long back. Finding range of motion. Okay, that's all. And then would you try to make this massive big circle? Hips, body, stretching, reaching. Bring your feet closer to the chair. And then come all the way up. Go ahead and face that way. Holding on to the chair. Just reach up and go towards the chair. Oh, just a side body stretch. Find your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Maybe there's a little more movement. And then come all the way back up. Here we go again. Inhale. And exhale. And come all the way back up. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. And come all the way back up. And then turn around. The other side. Okay. Always going towards the chair. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And let's go ahead and come sit on your chairs. We're going to do our Shavasana, not on the ground. Sometimes art, often art, we get down on the floor. I will bring you a bolster.
You ready to forklift too? Like it like that?
It's easier, you know what she's talking about. When you first start, you don't know what she's saying, you're not doing it. Don't give up. You learn your phrases.
You learn my phrases.
Learn her language.
Okay, just hold this by the side of your chair. We'll use it in a minute. I want to do some twists first. You just keep that right by the side of your chair. This part would have all been set up had I got here on time, but that's okay. All right, so let's just twist. So one hand is going to come to the leg. In fact, grab your block and put it between your thighs because I don't want you to let your knees go together. Okay, the other hand is going to come to hold the back of the chair. This shoulder is going to go up and the elbow is going to bend and pull back. And then you're just going to try and twist around and breathe. Let the breath be slow. Go ahead, and if you'd like to, you can take this block up a little higher, squeeze it together, and push. Notice what that does to your mid to low back. Gives it an extra little twist. And then release. Come back, ooh, sink down. So often, okay, our back will take the shape we spend the most time in. Our whole body does. Okay, so, which is, I wish you could have seen me. We drove from California to St. George, where it went to Joseph and the Amazing Technical Green Co. with Blair's brothers and wives. And it was, no, he was not in ours. So you know, it's a 6.5 hour drive, 7 hour drive to St. George. We got there, I changed in the car, I put makeup on in the car, and we went into the restaurant, and then, so it was just like, and I'm sitting there, and I'm in David Archuleta. I mean, it was lovely, but my body was like, had been so sedentary for so long, it was just craving movement, okay? So, notice that. Go ahead, here, other side. Here, 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 wherever you need that. This is the shoulder. You want to make sure you just kind of pull up and around. Yeah. And then you just twist. You're trying to lengthen up as much as you can. Tighten your belly. Okay. Even if you're like, yeah, Debbie, but I've got a belly. It doesn't matter. The muscles underneath it can still tighten. Take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe you move through your neck a little. And then gently release. Now we're going to move with our breath. Inhale this side. Exhale all the way to the other side. Watching the shoulder. Inhale this side. Exhale. Let it be audible. Inhale. Exhale. Now stop. Inhale, holding. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Find that shoulder kind of automatically starts to pull back. I'm not letting it roll forward. Moving with my breath. The inhale, the exhale. One more. The inhale, the exhale brings you back to center. Just roll down, scrunch. This stretches the back side of the vertebrae. And then come on up. This actually stretches the front, the back. Go ahead and lose the block. Bring your forearms to your thighs. Tuck your chin. I'd like you to try and create as tight a curl in your back as you can. So like you're making the letter C. Would you please push down into your forearms? They're not on your knees, but they're on your thighs. Push down and pull the ribs back. Tuck your chin and notice that stretch all the way from your tailbone around to the top of your head. Does anybody feel a little strain in the sides of the temple? I don't know, in the sides of the temple. Okay, you don't want to. So sometimes I can get tight enough with my chin. I start to feel it all the way up through my sinuses in my head. I know I've gone too far if I've done that. And then bring your hands up. Just lengthen straight up. It's like you're uncurling your spine. Take a couple of really deep breaths. Grab your bolster. Now, you have options, okay? We're just kind of, Shavasana translates to dead corpse pose, which is why we usually do it on the ground, okay? But here, we're just gonna let our body kind of lean up and over. So you're trying to get this into the belly. You can move some of the belly out of the way. You might maybe not, right? And
You know, she was right.
I did not. I didn't look at anybody. I had my eyes closed. So, and then you're just going to kind of drape your spine. Now, my hands kind of start getting tingly here, so I will often do this. And I just am rounding and I'm supporting it. Letting everything go.
Is my chin supposed to be on the hip there?
No, not right now. How's that feel on your back though? Pretty good?
Well, I had my 34 vertebrae fused about 7 months ago, so.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little
Now
tougher.
I feel very good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's gonna feel like in the morning.
Well, just if you are this, and this is great input. When we feel ourselves hurt the next day, or maybe tonight, okay, your body, if it is like so excruciatingly painful that you can't move, then you've done too much. Okay, if you're like, yeah, then move. Okay, make sure before you go to bed and first thing in the morning that you're moving. So that stiffness and that soreness comes from lactic acid buildup because we use the muscles. Moving and breathing are two of the two things that help release lactic acid. The other is time. But time stiffens us back up. So you're just letting everything go. If that is way too intense, then you're welcome to just forearms on the block or on the bolster. We're just trying to support the spine. Take some deep breaths and then really let your breathing even just be its normal self. It's usually pretty shallow. Try to have just a moment of everything relaxing, including your mind. And then slowly wake yourself back up. Maybe you blink your eyes open and start to move your spine. You can lose your bolster. Sit up as straight as you can. So oftentimes we do all that relaxation on the floor. Okay? Totally fine.
I kind of like the chair.
You like the chair? It's important to be able to get up and down. It's important to still have that mobility. We resist it, because it's hard, but it's really important. So bring your hands to your heart center. Okay. This we usually end yoga classes with. It's an acknowledgement. This whole thing right here is called the Namaskar mudra, and it is really just this connection. They usually put the thumbs at the heart, and it's like this overall connection. The front side of the body in yoga is the individual, the back side is the universal. Here I'm connecting them together because of that loop of energy. Okay, so that's the reason the hands are here. The word namaste means I value. It means I see your goodness, I see your greatness, I see your divinity and your light. It's within each of us.